Today we're going to be talking about partnerships. Kitties make friends. We definitely hear the buzzword utility a lot in regards to not just Mooncats, but NFTs in general. That is something that is really important to us. We want you to love your cats. We want you to express your cats in the larger sort of Web3 world. And so that is something that we have been focusing on a lot in the last few months. Before I jump into sort of a lot of the partnership announcements, I do want to talk a little bit about our summer schedule. Um, I know there were some people that were disappointed we weren't able to make it to NFT NYC, and this sort of goes over kind of what has been going on and why we ended up not making it. Um, Two new kittens in the Mooncats family. Mark is pretty quiet on the Discord, but he does a lot of our UI UX work, and he actually comes back to work today. He has been on parental leave. And Wonder is also away on parental leave this month. He just had a new small bean delivered. Um, Midnight Lightning is away this week and next week. Him and his wife are actually going to visit their two ancestral homes. And so that has been a big trip for him. And so it ended up being that out of sort of the Ponderware staff, we had two people away with new births. We had someone that was going away on a particularly long trip. I am still unable to travel currently. Tusk is like in the process of finding a new house.
Yeah.
And Jerfels just moved. And so it was one of those things where we really wanted to go to NFT NYC, and just this confluence of all of these things happening at once um, just made it so that there really wasn't anybody who was able to attend. And so that was a big bummer for us. Although, um, when when we are able to attend NFT conferences, we bring stickers and swags and have meetings and all that stuff. So do keep your eyes peeled for the next conference we will be attending, because when we go to those, we definitely bring swag to give out to people. In additional things going on this summer, both Tuss and I are likely going to be taking some time away. We will do our best to announce who is out and when, um, but know that there will always be someone from the Mooncat Rescue team around, barring Sundays. Sundays are our days off. And so, know if things feel a little slow currently, that's why. There's just been a lot of things going on behind the scenes that has taken some people away from their normal work duties. And so
Yep.
it turns out that as much as we love working on Mooncats, all of us have lives that are outside of Mooncats. And we just wanted to kind of give the community a bit of an update on why things may have felt a little bit slow over the last month or so.
TLDR, two first time dads and a journey of self discovery.
I love it. So MoonCat Purse. Um, this was one of our key things that we wanted to get out, and this was important as part of our sort of framework that holds up Gravball and other sort of um, integrations into Mooncats. So Purse has seen some updates to move your loot prints for Mooncats and Mooncat Pop into a Mooncats inventory. You can also now move your Mooncat moments out of your cat's inventory. One thing that we want to make sure that people are aware of is we know that there is a significant amount of people that hold their Mooncats in a cold wallet and then hold things like loot prints and Mooncat Pop and things that have a lesser value outside of that vault. So you are now able to move things inside of MoonCat Purse into a Mooncat that is not inside of the same wallet. If you have questions about doing that, don't hesitate to hit us up in support. We are happy to assist with that. And so that is sort of our focus, moving those Mooncat specific ecosystems into and out of your kitty's bags. We know that there has definitely been some requests for items that are interoperable with Mooncats. isotile land, isotile avatars, World Wide Web land, things like that, being able to move those into a Mooncats inventory so that you can sort of create a Mooncat bundle and sort of circumvent some of that official. If you make a bundle on OS, all of the collections have to be verified, and so it's sometimes a little bit challenging to make bundles of Mooncats. So we are trying to make that a little bit easier for you. Coming next in purse development, next TM, because there isn't a specific timeline for this, but it is sort of the next thing that we are working on amongst this sort of larger purse development. We want you to be able to customize a Mooncat's lore inside a purse so it becomes a notable record. This is going to include sort of key events in the Mooncat's life. When was it rescued? When was it acclimated for the first time? When was it named? Has it won any graph ball games? We also want you to be able to write stories about your Mooncats. And for those of you who say, hey, this sounds very familiar, you are right. This is all going to be powered by Hype. So for those of you who are a little bit newer to the Mooncats ecosystem, Hype is a platform where you can develop lore for any NFT, the collection that they have specifically verified. Mooncats was one of the first that they did so. And so you will be able to basically make your purse page for a Mooncat, sort of the one-stop shop, sort of like a mini record of your Mooncat's life and interests, so that you can actually take that page and share it to other people as the overall story of your Mooncat. And that will sort of like be a mini landing page for your Mooncat and all of the things that that Mooncat has done in its life.
Very cool.
We will be taking suggestions for items that will be eligible for moving into and out of the MoonCat Purse through the UI. At the moment, you can move anything, but it requires a manual contract interaction. Please, please, please don't do it if you don't know what you're doing, because if you get things stuck in the acclimator contract, we cannot take them out. Don't move your penthouse without knowing exactly what you're doing. But as I mentioned, we are primarily focusing on collections that have interoperability with Mooncats. That's Web3 Land, Isotile Lands and Avatars, things like that. And we do know that at the moment, things in your inventory won't be seen as yours to many NFT ecosystems. And we have already started reaching out to compatible project to ensure that their sort of like checks to see if you own something still work if an item is moved into your Mooncat's purse. So know that we are forward thinking and that we want you to be able to continue to utilize sort of the benefits of those items, even if they're stored in your purse. That is still a very new concept. There has been sort of a mixed uptake in terms of ERC 998 and ERC 1155 compatibility. But know that we are definitely forward thinking on that. Other things that I wanted to make sure that we touch upon, just sort of as a regular check-in, we haven't forgotten about the vote, though we still do think 2% of sentiment does not fully represent the Mooncat community. And the thing that sort of chills us a little bit is we see votes where the sentiment was swayed entirely by a whale, or even in this case, it was a mini whale. So the one thing that we want to continue to impress upon the community is good turnout is good feedback. And we want to blast that message loud and wild. Or
Loud and Wild
loud and
works.
wide. Oh my gosh. Sorry. Brain go bleh today. All right. But know that this is something that is still being worked on. We haven't forgotten that that vote happened and that there was sort of a movement towards turning off accessories. And so we kind of slot this also as coming next TM, although that next TM is as summer schedules accommodate this work. We have reached out to a number of projects and received really good feedback from, for example, the World Wide Web. and ensuring that they have an API endpoint that they can query that has specifically accessories on it, specifically does not include the accessories that they find disruptive to their metaverse, specifically including things that they do want to have inside of their metaverse. Um, I know people are sad that this is taking so long, but know that these conversations had to happen first before we made a lot of these decisions, because ultimately we would rather be slow and right than rush and need to pull back. And I'm okay taking the heat on that because I know that choice isn't popular with everyone. So if this upsets you, I'm sorry, but this is the way that we have decided to do it. And you can feel free to yell at me. So, does anybody sort of have any questions so far about the MoonCats API, what we're going to be working on over the summer, MoonCat Purse, and sort of our scheduling so far this summer?
Well, Brick Router tossed a quick comment in basically saying vote by kitty number, more cats should be more votes. Yeah, Brick, I think this is, one of the areas that's kind of shown a light on is we need to have a better criteria framed from the get-go. So that's definitely top of mind moving forward is actually setting vote criteria that is sustainable.
Definitely. And, the first vote definitely gave us a lot of good information about how many people that have a large number of cats are really strongly motivated to be active in votes like this. And so the vote layout that we had for the first vote will not be the same vote layout that we have moving forward. We are definitely taking feedback on that and have heard from folks that, like, hey, this didn't quite work the way that we think that you intended it. And the answer is, yep, we are learning.
Yep.
And so continue to give us feedback on things like this because we the more feedback we have, the better decisions that we can make on this stuff. All right. So for some of you that have been to previous MoonCat Mondays, this is going to be a refresher more than it is new information. Um, so when we are looking at selecting partners to increase MoonCat utility with, we are always looking for connections to Web2 businesses. Um, if you can facilitate these first contacts, don't hesitate to reach out to us. It is really helpful. And again, sort of a refresher, we receive a lot of feedback from community members about what they're looking for in terms of partners and collaborations. And as overwhelmingly, this feedback comprises things like I want to do things with my Mooncats, or shorthanded to please add utility. That is what we have been focusing on proceeding with. And in general, we have seen minimal interest in allow list opportunities. And when we do have allow list opportunities, the people who express interest that then go on to mint is pretty small. And so we are not focusing on those. This is especially true of pre launch partners, as way too many of these basically mint, reveal, and then crash. And we have seen this happen. We occasionally track the projects that came to us with offers that we declined, just to sort of see, like, hey, did we make a mistake? And in a lot of these spot checks, you see sometimes within days or usually within weeks, these projects just don't maintain any value to them. And some of them are just straight up abandoned. Um, so know that if it seems like we are accepting very few partnerships is because we are trying to look out for you guys and gals. So what we decline and accept is based on your community feedback. If there is a type of partnership that you guys and gals are looking for that you feel like is a good opportunity to Mooncats, or it is something that you are specifically interested in that you feel that has the same values as the MoonCat project, you can always DM me. Just remember, I'm off on Wednesdays and Sundays. So if you DM me on one of those days, I get back to you the next day. And thank you to people who are very patient with me. There are times where I come back on Thursday and Monday and I will have 300 DMs. And I do get through them eventually throughout that day. But know that I get a ton of DMs, and promise you, I am not ignoring you. I am just answering them in the order they came in. So shout out to our amazing community. Like, honestly, you guys are awesome. I appreciate that you guys have patience with me, and just know that I am actively working a lot. So, the first partnership we want to talk about today is
Woo woo.
Pixelverse.
It's out of the
So
bag.
we've been so excited to talk about this. So, surprise! Um, we are excited to confirm we are partnering with Pixelverse. You will be able to use your Mooncats and avatars in the Pixelverse metaverse. For those of you who are less familiar with Pixelverse, Pixelverse is created by the team behind Sappy Seals, and you can check out some sort of teasers at thepixelverse.com. Also, a big shout out to the community members who suggested this and truly made the connection. In particular, everyone give a big thank you to Colt.eth.
Snaps to Colt.
Yay! Because he was definitely the one that made a lot of noise on Twitter and definitely got the Sappy Seal development team's attention and was really integral in ensuring that that connection was made.
Thanks, Colt.
Thank you, Colt. Since I know that this is going to be the immediate question that people are going to ask, Mooncats will not be eligible for staking rewards in the same way that Sappy Seals are. But as of the communications that we have right now, they will be eligible for accrual of rewards in-game. How that is going to work is something that we are still chatting about with the Pixelverse team. And so we are going to have more information on that, but it is probably going to be closer to the end of the year. We are also in discussion regarding usage for MoonCat Pop. The two things that we are chatting with the Pixelverse team about is placing MoonCat Pop vending machines in-game and then allowing people to mint directly from them inside of the Pixelverse. And additionally, for those that have a MoonCat Pop, the idea would be is you will get a reusable cooldown item. Again, this is something that we are still working on opening and continuing discussions with them. And so we expect to have more information on Pixelverse and utility for both Mooncats and MoonCat Pop later in the year. There is going to be an accessories collab. So definitely keep an eye out for that.
For sure.
Next thing that we are talking about is core. So we hinted at this in the last Mooncats Monday, and we are happy to confirm the next 3D metaverse we will be working with is core. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with core, think of it sort of like Minecraft and Fortnite had a baby, and somehow some Roblox got thrown in there as well. So they have a well-established sort of Web 2 experiences building, and they are now moving that into Web 3. We have seen them do a number of demos that are specific to Web 3, and we're having quite a few discussions with them about not just Mooncats integration, but beyond that, utility and usability, because we're talking with them about going beyond just, hey, you can play as your Mooncat. And I'm really excited because they are super open to ideas. One of the experiences they showed us was an adventure world where if you owned a loot, that was how your warrior was equipped. And if you had a map NFT, that was the dungeon layout that you could play as. And so, we've been throwing around this idea of, well, hey, if you own a Mooncat instead of a loot, you will unlock a specific set of armor for these sort of dungeon experiences. We've talked about the fact that there is a core boot camp coming up If you have not already claimed the Metaverse Builders role, and you are interested in sort of going to this boot camp and learning more about how to build inside of Core, definitely make sure that you snag that role. We're going to have more details in the future as both teams continue to coordinate. We were initially hoping that the Core boot camp was going to be in August, but it sounds like it might actually be pushed out a little bit from
Correct.
that.
Yep.
And so we're just sort of continuing to have conversations with them about when that might be happening and some official sort of cross promotional announcements. And as I said, if you haven't already snagged that Metaverse Builders role, that is where we're pulling the boot camp participants from. Oh my God, I can't talk today. So we did do a call to action a couple of weeks ago. That was basically react to this announcement if you want the Metaverse Builders role. If you do not yet have that role or you didn't react to that announcement, go ahead and ping Tustusk and he will get you set up.
Very
Right.
exciting.
Is there any questions so far about Pixelverse or Core?
We are making inroads into new metaverses. Slowly but surely. Cool. I don't see anything, so I think we're good.
Fantastic. And then, of course, it wouldn't be a MoonCat Mondays without Liquid Lands. So I have been loving playing Liquid Lands, and it definitely feels like we have a lot of kitties that are actively playing. Um, I think my favorite thing that's been happening is there is quite a number of MoonCat owners that have like delve joined other factions and then use the bricks that they build up inside of those other factions to strengthen their Mooncats.
Yep.
So I think there's like 5 or 6 of us with Lucky Manekis. There's 5 or 6 of us with Wondernauts. There's 5 or 6 of us with Pride Punks. I'm sorry, Kaylee. I totally attacked your Pride Punk.
She's territorial. She'll come back for it. She says very rude.
I'm just gonna wake up every morning and see that that Pride Punk has taken my spot in Indonesia, and I've just kind of learned to live with it. So it's kind of been amazing seeing this community inside of Liquid Lands really sort of rise up, and I'm having a lot of fun playing with Mooncats. Hopefully, you guys are too. Last week, new skill bricks were rolled out. These skill bricks have a rolling eligibility. In other words, if you are new to Liquid Lands, if you are just going to join for the first time today, don't fret. You will be eligible for these. It wasn't like a limited time thing that if you played up until this point, you were eligible and nobody else is. You can continue to earn these whether you have been playing for a day, a week, a month, or are just going to start this week. The very cool thing about these skill bricks is they have a reduced minting cost. They were originally free and had no stats on them, but I think Dave sort of was seeing the way that they were being minted and realized very quickly that that was opening the door to some multi-wallet manipulation. So he did add stats to them, and on top of that, he did add a mint price to them. But they're like cheap. I think when I minted my last skill brick, it was like $4 for the brick and $10 for gas, and
That
so
sounds right. Yep.
it's like nothing. So the one thing that I would strongly encourage Mooncats to do is focus on getting 2 skills as quickly as possible, which is your candidate and apprentice skill. Also, don't sell your skill bricks. Oh my gosh, please, please don't sell your skill bricks. If you sell your skill bricks, you are not eligible for the next brick in the line of skill bricks. So in order to mint candidate, it's like play for 2 days in a row, or play for 2 total days. in order to mint Apprentice, you have to own a candidate brick and have played for 10 days. And so if you mint your candidate skill and sell it, you will never be eligible to mint your apprentice. So it is very, 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 very important. Don't sell your skill bricks.
And that's that right-hand column of images. You'll start with candidate, that blue hard hat in the middle is your apprentice, and then centurion is bottom right, which is, that's a tough one to get.
Yeah. So the centurion brick requires your faction to hold a minimum of 100 lands. We pretty regularly hold 100 lands, but the amount of land that we hold kind of yo-yos between like 75 and 175. And so we want to make sure that people who are interested in getting their Centurion brick have a time that we will specifically push into the map, get over 100, and people will have the opportunity to mint their Centurion brick. So tentatively, we are looking at coordinating that push in probably mid to late July. The next couple of weeks are going to be a little bit crazy for us with people in and out. And then there's like a Canadian holiday, an American holiday, and there's going to be like a published by Pondaware announcement. And so we just want to make sure that we are not overcommitting ourselves in terms of all of the things that we have to do for like the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Right. And Pugme is right. We are over 100 right now. So if you are proactive, you can get in there. But just know there will be coordinated pushes in the future as well.
And so, as always, we are doing a giveaway. So all Mooncats that have minted the candidate brick by July 4th at 11:59 p.m. GMT or 6 p.m. CST, Cat Standard Time, you will be automatically entered into a draw for a 1 attack, 1 defense brick. And just sort of keep your eyes open for that announcement. It'll probably go out on the 5th or the 6th. But you have a whole week to work on getting your candidate brick. If you have questions about strategy or things that you should be focusing on in terms of your in-game actions, there is quite a number of us that are very active in the Liquid Lands channel. Never hesitate to drop a question. Never hesitate to drop I'm ready to play. Where should I start? We have been having a ton of fun with this game. And so ask us questions. We are happy to answer.
For sure. And it's also worth pointing out that, you don't have to get in and start spending ETH or Matic. It is a multi-chain kind of runway here. So if you prefer minting on ETH, you can do that. If you like Poly, you can do that at a slight discount. But there is no reason you have to spend money on this game. You can get in there and start farming raw bricks, and eventually this game is going to add loops in that use your raw bricks for different kind of in-game power-ups. So if you don't want to spend a cent and just get in and start trying to further the Mooncats faction, it's a great way to get Mooncats on our leaderboard and make other collections aware of who we are. And at the same time, you can do well without spending.
Also, a reminder that we actually have an alliance with the 2 Starcade collections, so Starcade Legion Fighters and Starcade The Lost Fighters. Try not to attack them. If they attack you, I can't say I don't blame you if you attack them back, because they have total been to me over the weekend. But yes, we do have sort of a loose alliance with them. Dave is working on sort of more official alliance mechanics that is going to be coming down the line, but like as sort of very similar to Mooncats, the problem is, as always, many good ideas and only 24 hours in the day. Any questions about Liquid Lands before I jump to the next category? Sorry, I just need to blow my nose.
No, it looks like we are in good shape there. So go and give it a try. It's doing its darndest to be an interoperable game in a sea of over-promised interoperable hype.
we're probably gonna have a conversation about Wonder Knots at some point because they are definitely taking over the world, and it's kind of a dilemma because they more or less leave us alone as the Mooncat faction, and so it's like we also have a lot of people, in particular Tusk, who have like a whole bunch of Wonder Knots, and so it's like we don't want them to be the number one faction forever, but also do are we ready to poke the bear?
Exactly. I'm kind of
So
laying low, but if a lot of Mooncatters come in and say they want blood, I'm gonna jump with you all. So you just let me know.
Pug Me is all for poking the bear. If for no other reason than Minekis and Wonder Knots have kind of been like scrapping with each other. So kind of with you, Pug Me. I did pick up um, a clouder of lucky Minekis myself. And I definitely see Wonder Knots pretty regularly targeting my Minekis.
Oh, so stay tuned. We may get drawn into World War III here. So
I have 13 lucky Minekis. Haha. All right. Moving on. Speaking of historical NFTs, this has been a requested collaboration for a while, and we are finally ready to unveil the Curio Cards Mooncats accessory. Woot woot! So, big shout out to Tusk, who worked very hard on this and very long on this. So, everybody say thank you to Tusk.
or send me an Apple's card. Either one is acceptable. I would take an Apple's
Yes.
card if you want to thank me with that. That's fine.
So I absolutely love how well this turned out. And so we are going to be taking a snapshot on Monday, July 4th. And sort of this is going to be set up as sort of a hybrid between some of the other ways that we have had these crossover accessory claims. And so there is going to be a short window to claim the accessory for free, just pay gas, if you own both. And that sort of short window will be 300 claims or 1 month, whichever comes sooner. And then at that point, the allow list will be dropped, the price of the accessory will be raised, and everybody will be able to claim it.
And when we say both, we mean a wrapped curio card, not necessarily the Apple's curio card, simply a
Yes.
wrapped curio card.
Yeah, so this accessory will initially be free for all Curio cards and Mooncat holders, much like previous accessories. We will take that snapshot looking at all wallets that own both a Mooncat, it does need to be an acclimated Mooncat, and any Curio card, any wrapped Curio card. And just to sort of give you guys a heads up about there will be some pretty stiff competition for this accessory because there is already over 2,000 Mooncats eligible for this drop.
Correct.
And it is highly likely that Curio cards will be picking up some Mooncats and Mooncats will be picking up some Curio cards. And to answer the question that I am absolutely sure people are going to be asking all this week, you can claim the accessory on more than one Mooncat at a time. And sort of to talk about this crossover, and for those Mooncatters that are a little less familiar with Curio cards, for Curio card holders that are a little bit less familiar with Mooncats, we are going to be having a joint Twitter space on Friday, July 1st at 6 p.m. CST. That is midnight GMT. We will be doing a large number of announcements on our social media to remind you, and you'll be able to set a reminder. That is actually where the accessory is going to be officially announced. And so this is your beforehand alpha to pick up a Curio card if you are interested in snagging this accessory. And of course, if you have Curio card friends that do not yet have a Mooncat and you think that they would be interested in this accessory, now is a good time to loop them in on the alpha so that they can get started picking out their perfect Mooncat.
And Mooncat 10 asks, you could eventually add your Apple to your Mooncat through Purse, right? Well,
Correct.
that would be, I think he means the Apple wrapped curio card
Yeah.
itself. And theoretically, we'd
So
have to vet and make it have some guardrails to get it in
Yes.
there. We don't want people
Yeah.
losing their wrapped apples card.
So that is definitely one of those things where we are looking at other historical NFTs to be compatible with the MoonCat Purse UI, so that you can move um, a variety of other historical NFTs, including Curio Cards, into your MoonCats inventory. Pixel Map is definitely on that list of things we want to do, sort of that cross pollination with. So know that that is on the list of things that we are considering. There is just not a UI to do so yet.
Definitely. Yeah, one day it will be so cool to just transfer MoonCat, and with it, you get your historic pixel map it's on. You get any owned curio cards that, it has tie-in accessories to. You even get, an isotile gallery to go with it. Maybe even some webland that, has a quest tied to it or something.
Yeah.
The future is very bright for NFTs owning other NFTs.
Yep. And so, that is definitely sort of like our pie in the sky at the very end of all of this programming and vetting and ensuring that the UX and UI works properly. We definitely want that sort of interoperability where Mooncats can own their whole historical collection inside of their purse. So know that that is something that is actively on the to-do list. I don't have quite a date for it, but yeah, that is sort of the end goal, is to have sort of like your Mooncat be the receptacle of all of your historicals and be able to bundle these together as like one big sale. All right, next on our list, ZooDAO. And so some of this is going to be a refresher if you were at the last MoonCat Mondays. So ZooDAO has chosen Phantom as their application chain. And we do still have it in our to-do list to test and create the Phantom version of the Mooncats collection, because we want to ensure that Ponderware shoulders the cost of that. Um, Unfortunately, this does lock your Mooncat on ETH mainnet, and it loses its 998 compatibility. So know that they won't own things in their purse on Phantom, and we're still a little unsure if accessories will make the jump. We think they will. We hope they will. But until we do our own internal testing, we can't guarantee they will. This initial ZooDAO release will require bridging your Mooncats to Phantom via a wormhole bridge. This does mean currently you will not be able to play both ZooDAO and native Mooncat games like Graphball. And yes, we do understand this is a pretty drastic shift from
Yep.
their original messaging, that their staking would not interfere with project specific staking. They are currently really resistant to other options, but know that we are continuing to have conversations and advocate sort of for their original pitch. And so we are actively investigating Phantom as a network, and seeing if there is something that we can do on our end that would make it more compatible. Specifically, we are looking for ways for the jump port to work as bridging to L2s like this, so that as a Mooncat owner, you can go into the jump port and play a multitude of games and projects and not just be locked to Phantom. That being said, one of the things that we're going to be doing. Sorry, hang on. Oh, sorry, I sneezed. One of the things that we are going to be doing all throughout July is starting to do some informational tweets about L2s. So do keep an eye out for those through the next couple of months, because we want to make sure that everybody understands what the L2 options out there, what we expect to have compatibility with, and just to sort of familiarize yourself with these L2s. So any questions about either Curio Cards, ZooDAO, or upcoming L2 integration?
Give the chat a quick second here. But this idea of projecting into other L2s is a very, very new one, radically new. So, gonna have to feel it out in progress. we'll give MoonCat 10 a chance to type out, and if not, we'll move on. When will Curio's date be announced? Friday on
So officially,
Spaces.
it'll be announced on July 1st. And then we will take the snapshot on July 4th. And the plan is to have the claim available July 5th or July 6th, just depending on how busy we are coming back from the long weekend. With midnight out, Jerfels is handling all of the accessory deployment and all of the allow lists. But Jerfels is also our primary contact person for all of the IP negotiations. And so we kind of have to work around his schedule.
Absolutely.
All right. Next thing, the Wall app. And so we've done a couple of Twitter spaces with the Wall app. Wall is a social profile and portfolio gallery. And the thing that sets Wall apart from some of these other gallery sort of style ideas like on Cyber is Wall is both personally and as a business keenly interested in historical NFTs. And they are planning to feature them specifically. So beta testing begins. Oh, typo, next week. So beta testing for the Wall app begins next week. Later this week, you will be able to check out the Rect score. And we will be tweeting about that and doing some announcements as they become available. The perk is as owners of Mooncats, you will get to use Wall for free during beta and for a period of time after beta ends. Wall itself is going to be sort of a sort of like Discord / Telegram model where you will be able to use some features for free, and then there is also a monthly subscription that you can dial into that will give you additional benefits and statistics and utility. And we have had several conversations with Wall and with other historical NFTs about what the historical community finds important and what it doesn't care as much about. I think the thing that really uniquely sets a lot of these historical NFTs apart is most of the teams don't care about what the floor price is. They care about what the floor price is, but it is not their primary focus. Whereas for a lot of these new projects, the floor price is super duper important because if it falls below where the project minted, all of a sudden everybody panics. We've also had a lot of discussions with them about provenance and how frustrating it is that like OpenSea can be really deceptive inadvertently because all it shows is when a Mooncat was wrapped for the first time. And so people are like, this is a 2018 NFT, but it was just minted 3 days ago. What the heck is up with that? And so we have been working with them to be like, all right, it doesn't matter when it was wrapped. It matters when it was minted, and sort of ensuring that that provenance is as visible as possible so that there is considerably less confusion.
Right.
To sort of celebrate the partnership of historical NFTs, they will be launching a Mooncats giveaway this week. Whether you have a Mooncat or not, you are going to be eligible for it. If you are not following at MoonCatRescue on Twitter, that will be your gateway to all things Mooncats on social media, including this contest. And it'll basically be instructions for posting your Rect score and tagging a couple of accounts, including our own.
Yep. A very light lift for potential Mooncat in play here. So Keep your eyes out for Twitter details going out on that, and then all you'll have to do is share a score and make sure you're following, and you'll be good to go. You'll be entered.
All right. Next up, World Wide Web. Hopefully no one was hit with the recent Discord exploit. Crossing our fingers. We haven't heard anybody from the Mooncats community that was affected. So we hope that everybody managed to make it through okay.
And quick shout out to everybody reacting, in the way we've all rehearsed, which is sketchy mint. Let's make it known. Let's get the word out. And, always spread the word against those urgent mints. Those are always sketchy.
Yes. And honestly, just alerting us, the moderator team, quickly, basically saved a lot of people some headache, because we definitely saw some chatter in the Discord publicly, as well as some DMs to myself that was like, hey, I connected my wallet to that site. I didn't actually mint anything. Am I okay? And we were able to walk a few people through disconnecting, making sure that they pulled back any approvals that they'd given on revoked cash. So 2 very enthusiastic claws up for everybody who was around that night, alerted us, alerted other people, helped walk people that were affected through, ensuring that they didn't lose anything. You guys are awesome.
Yep.
I know I say it a lot, but I truly do mean it. You guys look out for each other in a way that is like super heartwarming.
It's not the norm in every Discord. So
yeah,
it's
we
very
would
cool.
we would be a totally different community if you guys weren't out there doing that. All right, so there is now, on a different topic, there is now a permanent URL for each of your lands if you are a landholder. These will auto-magically update as patches are pulled down. So you no longer need to sort of manually patch yourself as new builds of V2 come out. Being a landholder is sort of a quasi Game Pass for new features being beta tested in World Wide Web. I particularly liked there was a period of time in Web Defenders where like the top 10 slots were all held by Mooncats.
Pretty cool.
That was particularly awesome.
Convinced Soy was modding, but that's okay.
So, in terms of upcoming parties in World Wide Web, V2 is still being worked on heavily day by day, but their release timeline is still very much in flux. We are really hoping they will be ready for public beta later in this summer, but know that we are beholden to their schedule, and so parties are coming, we promise. But we also have to wait for V2. Unfortunately, since we kind of crashed web the last time we had a party, I don't think they want us to have any more parties until D2 is out. Sorry, guys. We broke web. All right. Any questions on the Wall app or World Wide Web?
Looks okay.
Oh my gosh, I don't know what it is. I'm sneezing so bad today. I'm just trying to stay muted while I do it. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. All right, last thing to talk about today is Minted Teddies. So we talked about this a few months ago, and we are excited to finally sort of reveal what is going on in terms of Minted Teddies. And we have been talking about this with people privately as they've been asking, but we also wanted to make sure there was sort of a general announcement so that people knew what was going on. With rapidly changing market conditions, Minted Teddies delayed their deployment. And so that is kind of the message that we've been telling people as they've been coming to us. It's like, hey, weren't we supposed to get a Minted Teddy? And the answer was yes. So for those who missed the last MoonCat Monday where we talked about this, which I think was probably back in April, the plan for Minted Teddies is to mint this summer. with a firmer date coming soon, TM. We will be opening up the allow list in July. And here is how their allow list works. There will be 100 slots that will be available for MoonCat holders. For those 100 slots, you will get a MoonCat themed Minted Teddy. And it will be one of the first 4 in this sort of block of minted teddies here. So the orange, spotted, and the red tabby, and then the green spotted, and then the red striped. There will be 111 MoonCat themed minted teddies in total. So the idea is 100 go specifically to MoonCat holders, 10 will be distributed amongst all minters, and then there is going to be a 1-of-1 special MoonCat minted teddy, which is the one in the bottom middle. That's sort of a very psychedelic striped MoonCat. That will be the 1-of-1. The price for minting unminted teddies, they are still figuring out because they are thinking about prices in fiat money as opposed to ETH. And obviously, the price of ETH has pretty radically changed in the last few weeks. But they are looking at a mint price between 0.1 and 0.2 ETH. We are taking feedback on this price point to return to the Minted Teddies team. So if you are like, that is absolutely crazy, there is no way I will mint at that price. If it is, that is totally an acceptable price. I look forward to minting a teddy. If you're like, no, these things just don't appeal to me, all of that feedback is really, really helpful to us. So we will be kind of taking feedback about minted teddies for the next couple of weeks. So don't feel like you need to immediately answer today. We will probably get them an initial sort of sentiment report at the end of this week. So if you can let us know in the next few days, that is the most helpful. But really, any time in the next couple of weeks would be good. And the thing that we haven't talked about yet is owners of a minted teddy will actually be able to acquire a physical teddy bear toy. And they've showed it to us. It is absolutely adorable. And so this is what's called a sustainably sourced toy. And the idea is it's not a plushie. It is sort of like, how do I explain it? It's sort of like that bouncy plastic material that like gymnastics mats are made out of. And it feels really nice in the hands. There is no like small parts for small children to bite off. And it is super adorable. All minted teddies do get the same toy, so you won't get a MoonCat specific teddy if you decide to get your physical teddy toy. But we will hopefully have pictures for you with what the teddy will look like so that you can decide if you want to utilize that acquisition.
Yep.
Any questions about minted teddies?
I don't see anything off the bat. So in the background, do be stern but fair with us, and give us any feedback that you'd like us to pass on to Minted Teddy.
So that is everything out of partnerships that we wanted to share today. I did want to make sure that we carved out a little bit of time at the end of this presentation so that if you had questions about anything that we talked about today, or more broader questions about the MoonCats ecosystem, that everybody had the opportunity to shoot those questions at us.
So fire away, anything from Pixelverse to Core to Minted Teddy, anything we covered today. And you can drop any questions in this MoonCat Monday channel. Pugme asks if he thinks if we think GravBall beta numbers are okay. Basically, as I read it, do we have enough beta testers to draw down on for the initial beta testing? I believe that's what you're asking, Pugme.
I don't think we've done a final count of people that have specifically moved their MoonCat Pop and their loot print into their MoonCat's Purse. We did do sort of a, a, a high level scan of like how many people have MoonCats and a loot print and a MoonCat Pop in a single wallet. And we definitely see a healthy number of people who do so, or at least it matches sort of the numbers that we expected to see. And so in terms of do we have enough people to test, I believe so. But we will sort of make that final determination once we are ready to have people jump into the fields. So I don't think we mentioned that the jump port contract was deployed last week, and we found a bug. And so we are actually in the process this week of fixing that bug. So there is not going to be beta testing this week for sure, just because we want to make sure that everything is working correctly before we let people jump into that.
Kind of a follow-up on that, Acid Man wants to know if loot prints and our MoonCat Pop cans can be in just our wallet, or do they need to be formally added to Purse under a MoonCat?
So in order to participate in the GravBall testing, they do need to be stored inside of a MoonCat's Purse, because your MoonCat with those items inside of it will get staked into the jump port. You don't need to do it urgently or immediately, because we won't be testing in the next week or two. We will give you a pretty loud and proud heads up when that is going to be happening.
Yeah, as the jump port rolls out, I imagine we'll have all kinds of instructions on how to get involved there. So that will be the first shoe to drop.
Videos.
Did I use MS Paint for this? I used a paid Photoshop subscription wisely. I spent money to make that image.
So Heavy, I am actually going to have you drop that question into the Liquid Lands channel, because I'm going to have to actually look at the map on Liquid Lands after I stop sharing my screen in order to suggest where to go next. At the moment, mooncats are largely hanging out in Southeast Asia and Oceania. The Manekis have made a pretty strong play for Australia, and I don't know if it is worth trying to pull it back from them. But definitely New Zealand, Indonesia, all the other Southeastern Asian countries. India is pretty prime for takeover, because it's predominantly owned by Bored to Death. And Bored to Death is not a coordinated faction. And so it is pretty... They don't have many people that overplay, so they don't have a lot of exhausted units. But they definitely are not coordinated in the same way that some of these other factions that hold like 50-plus lands are. So they're pretty good targets.
Yeah, I would say anybody onboarding, you're going to be limited by your 30 attacks per account. So just get in there and try to hold some like lower tier land. And what you can do is search by Mooncat's faction and just plop down your initial explorers next to like factions to try to blend in. And just try to hold some low value land for 24 hours and get a feel of how quickly you'll be attacked and work it from there.
I mean, all cats are good cats, Pugme, but also a whole bunch of Manekis took away my Starcade land. So, I just have to blink them off the board, and they're going to have to live with that.
Yeah, try not to start any, horrendous land wars that drag all the Mooncats into it. Any new players. That is very much a thing that can happen in Liquid Lands. Like, you'll have one person load up on attack and defense and just go start World War III. So, yeah, please, we do have some minor alliances in the game that's keeping everything sane right now. But yeah, just look for
We will
safe
not
plots.
be able to hold on to those alliances forever. Like, we don't really have anything official with Wondernauts. And they are an absolutely huge and coordinated faction. So at some point, we are going to have to take them down, which is going to be a bummer. But also, it's a small world after all.
It's going to be really sad to have to kill all those Wandernauts, but I guess we'll do it.
Every once in a while, I go into my second wallet and I look at sort of the top factions and figure out who I should be raiding. So, raiding is a newer mechanic where if you capture a land, you get 10% of the raw bricks that are being guarded there. And so, we should probably have another Liquid Lands presentation where we sort of explain the mechanics behind raiding, how to look for good raiding targets, and sort of because that's a good place for if you're brand new to the game that you can grab a lot of bricks. I actually have a second wallet that I hold some of my like non-associated NFTs in, and I use it just for rating. And I actually thought live Wonder Not image, and I actually thought that well, if I'm only rating and not gathering off of any of these countries, like maybe I'll get half or a third of what my active primary wallet would get. And I was actually surprised. I was actually getting about three-quarters of what I was getting off of my main wallet that was actively defending and holding land just by raiding. So raiding definitely has its place in the game. I actually raid with NFTs that have zero attack just to kind of see if it works, and it does. I just have to be real careful because if I'm playing two wallets, I get like real close to that line of getting exhausted.
Yeah, some
So,
good advice. Don't let yourself get fatigued. If you see yourself displaying messages that say your fatigue is increasing, you're probably better off just slowing down because that's hard to come back from. And if you get targeted, you'll lose all your progress. So
yep.
that's some decent advice when starting out. Fatigue is a real killer. It's not so much that it actively hurts you, it's that people will go try to find fatigued accounts, and if they find you, they'll wipe you off the board.
I'm very good at doing
I am
that.
too. So that's your warning that there are lots of people who are very good at finding fatigued accounts.
All right. I think that is it for this week's MoonCat Monday. As a reminder for people, the MoonCat Monday schedule is a little helter skelter over the summer. So the next MoonCat Monday is going to be July 18th, which is going to be 3 weeks from today rather than our every second week, just to sort of accommodate for some of the holidays that people are taking and sort of some of the development work that we hope to have completed prior to the next presentation.
Yep.
So we will remind people on July 11th that there won't be a MoonCat Monday. It'll be on the 18th. But if you guys have questions or requests about things that you want to be discussed in a MoonCat Monday, the MoonCat Monday channel, the text channel, is always open. You can find it under community. It is open to everybody, whether you have a Mooncat or not. And so, if there are specific things that you want us to be talking about in regards to Mooncats, definitely let us know. The next Mooncat Monday is going to have some updates to some of the published by Ponderware projects. So it is going to be sort of a Mooncat Monday slash Ponderware Presents, a little bit similar to some of the earlier presentations that we had. So know that that is coming down the line as well. And thank you everybody for coming. We appreciate it when everybody shows up to these. It is very helpful to get feedback from you all like this. And it is nice to know that people actually find these useful. So I do appreciate that the amount of people showing up to these grows week by week. So thank you
Definitely.
everybody for attending. And I will talk with you all asynchronously throughout the week.
Thank you all.